TheCircle white snake. Now, you're obviously back on TheCircle. Feeding your baby is a key responsibility as a mother, whether by breastfeeding or bottle feeding, or a combo of both.
You've got crazy hair, I just have to...
Have I? It's from rocking out. I blame Whitesnake.
Now, the World Health Organisation promotes breastfeeding as the best source of nourishment for infants. Of course, we know. But around 80% of all women struggle with breastfeeding in some way. With some realistic advice and support, please welcome mother and author Melissa MacDonald. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today. 80% of women, what sort of struggles do they go through?
Oh, look, I think they kind of... they start after you've had the baby, obviously, because you're not prepared. You think that breastfeeding comes naturally. And you can have anything from getting the correct attachment takes a bit of time. So if you get that wrong, things can go from bad to worse pretty quickly. You can have cracked nipples, things like mastitis, engorgement. The list is quite long, but it's important to remember that all problems have solutions. So the idea is to prepare while you're pregnant and read up on things before the baby's born so you better your chance of success.
Why do you think so many women feel guilty and negative about, not expressing how they really feel about breastfeeding? I know, because on my stage, I would love to be able to breastfeed. I'm planning to breastfeed, but I'm very open to the fact that it mightn't go that way for several reasons.
Sure.
Why is there such guilt around?
I think that women put pressure on themselves, and I think that, a lot of them do think that's a natural thing to do. So when they, have the baby and they're thinking, oh my goodness, why is it so hard? There's a lack of continued support when you get home from hospital. You might have lactation consultants and midwives showing you daily when you're in hospital, but you're only in hospital for 4 to 6 days. You get home, it does take 6 weeks to really learn how to breastfeed. And not many people know that. And then, they're having feelings of failure because they can't get it right. They think that they're the only ones who can't get it right. And if you've got friends who don't have babies, your mum's not around, you've got no one to turn to, and you're kind of thinking, oh, I don't want to say that I'm having problems.
In your research, is this more common with first babies?
It is. I had problems breastfeeding my first child. I've got 2 boys. One's 5, one's 17 months. I didn't read up on anything to do with breastfeeding. I was more worried about how I was going to push the baby out, what stroller I was going to buy, and that kind of thing. And then I had a difficult labour. He went into special care and I didn't see him for a while. And I then he was like a piranha sucking, and then I got cracked nipples, and it all kind of stemmed from there, and I ended up bottle feeding. And then I was really determined second time around to get it right, because I really had feelings of guilt and failure, and it was really depressing, really.
Yeah, I had the similar thing. I chose to bottle feed Leo because I had to get back to work. I had no time off work.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, well, that's right, and I didn't have a supportive work environment at all, so I was really sort of pushed into a corner in terms of that. But there were times that I would bottle feed him, and I would be crying. I could cry now just thinking
from the
about
guilt.
it.
You feel guilt,
massive amounts of guilt. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's not like or anything. He's fine, but you do worry. You get them home, and you're just so in love with them.
And that's the problem with the Breast is Best, campaign. Yes, breast is best.
Absolutely. I'm ridiculous.
It's so beautiful because so many women are sitting at home right now
feeling the same
thing, Swanee, and look up to you so much as a role model, and to know that you're feeling the same as them, because it's not easy, is it, Melissa? It's
not easy.
And what really annoys me is, Giselle coming out and saying that it should be compulsory. The latest article in a couple of weeks ago saying that formula should be a prescription. I think we really need to be careful as a community, don't we, what messages we're giving to mums.
Yes, look, the Breast is Best campaign is worldwide, and it's got its merit, but it's not sort of saying, it's almost like a conspiracy. Breast is best, and, breastfeeding comes naturally, but we won't tell you it's actually really, really hard, and don't use formula, So it's pretty bad for women who... they're not giving any information about formula. For my book, for instance, I spent a year researching, 4 months of which I had to try and find, because I've got sections on breastfeeding and bottle feeding and combination, because a lot of people do a combination of both. But to find out what was in formula, what types of formula are out there. There are heaps of types of formulas, but if you choose to go down that path, you're not informed. It's just really silly. So the World Health Organization says breast is best. It should also be saying, but there's nothing wrong with formula. It is built to be so close to human breast milk. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, my son Cameron is fine. In fact, he's really, really smart and outgoing. And I bet you can't tell in this, room of people who was breast and who was bottle fed.
Exactly, but at the time you're like,
at the time
it's like
you're really
you're feeding them cyanide.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Bloody lay off us. We're just doing the best we can.
And as a woman, women are intelligent these days, and you want to be informed and you want to be sort of knowledge rich before you have the baby and be prepared to know if I want to go down this path, this is what's in it.
Sure. We're going to keep talking about this, and we want to hear from you about your experiences. I think we've all got the breast is best message, but we know it's all different depending on your circumstances. Please, Amos, we'll continue with Melissa MacDonald, and we'll give Chrissy a big hug right after this shopping message from Nikki.